Hello, everyone. I'm not sure if people were able to get on. I've been having some technical difficulties, so please bear with me. I think there's a glare in my glasses, so I'm gonna lift them up here for a little bit, but I can't really see. Um, and but I'm gonna try to. I love you too. So you might see my child or hear her. But so yeah, so I'm Takima for those who do not know me. But I am a new published author. But I have been writing for a long time. I've been writing since as long as I can remember. Um, and writing has been something that I have always gone to feel connected to my inner self, to feel to express myself as much as I can, and to share my story pretty much. So basically, this is what this webinar is about: is learning how to share your story. So a little bit about my story. And I'm sorry I keep like squinting, but I'm trying to see. I don't want you to see the glare in my glasses, but then I really can't see like clearly. Um, but so a little bit about my story. I'm 31, a single mom of a one daughter, and I was adopted when I was 6. And I was adopted into a really great family. I completely love them so much. And I think some of them are watching, so that kind of makes me happy. Actually, it does make me happy, very happy. So yeah, so I was adopted when I was 6. My mom was my birth mom was not in a position to take care of me because she had some drug issues that she was dealing with, and she was unable to take care of me. So at that point, the government stepped in and kind of like, did the whole takeaway situation. Um, so she wasn't able to kind of like care for us and things like that. So I went into a foster care agency, and a lovely woman and her daughter came to visit me. I was in the hospital actually for a week, and they came to see me. And the week after that, I was brought into their home as their new child and their new sibling. And my adopted mom, she sorry about that. My adopted mom, she had 5 children of her own, so I inherited 5 siblings, 3 brothers, 2 sisters. Sorry, 3 sisters, 2 brothers, which really was like really exciting. So I lived with them up until the time I was about 18, 19. And throughout that time, I really enjoyed being in that family. I had a really good childhood in terms of being in an adopted family and being in a family that I didn't necessarily know, but they accepted me and loved me. Um, but then there were also like inner struggles that I had because I knew that I belonged to another family, and I didn't know anything about them. And well, I knew some things because I was 6 years old when I was in foster care, and 7 years old when I was adopted. So I knew my other family, but then I was also a part of another family, and that kind of it was like an inner turmoil, or not an inner turmoil, but an inner struggle that I had, trying to figure out where I belonged. So, that kind of like stuck with me as I grew up. And when I became a teenager, it was really hard for me to love myself because I didn't really know who I was, honestly. Um, so after that, when I became actually 17, 18, when I graduated high school, like maybe a month after I graduated, I told my adopted mom that I wanted to be with my birth family. And I know that that was very difficult for her to accept. And now I do. But at the time I was just like, okay, I lived here, and you've taken care of me. Now it's time, I want to be with my family now. And she let me go. And that was literally the start of a journey that has been ongoing for my entire life. So long story short, I left, and I was with my birth family, and I lived in a whole bunch of different places throughout the city, and to say the least, it has been one crazy ride for me. I left, and I lived with a cousin, and I went through a lot of different things there. I went, and then I ended up going back to my adopted mom, after some really crazy things happened there. And I lived back with her. I was really happy to be back home. And then she ended up putting me out pretty much because I was not obeying rules, and being a teenager, a typical young adult at that point. So I ended up having to move out, and I was literally on my own at 19. Really didn't have anywhere to go, and I lived with a guy who pretty much took advantage of me. So I went through a lot of different things. So long story short, completely short, I promise. So in all of that happening, um, as I grew and as I became an adult, and making certain decisions and choices that weren't really good for me, I learned that a lot of those things and a lot of the things I experienced were stories, and I didn't really look at it like that before. So tonight I wanted to, sorry, not well. Let me go back. So, in light of all of what I just told you, and in light of this webinar tonight, I kind of wanted to talk to you about how to turn your life experiences into stories. Some of you may have felt like you wanted to write a book, or share your story via a blog, or speak into people, but don't really know where to begin. It's not hard, but it's not as simple. And not because it's not easy to do, but because there are so many elements involved in talking about your life. So I kind of wanted to get into that. So I'm going to put my glasses on. Hopefully the glare doesn't bother you as much, but I'm going to put my glasses on for this one because I have to look at my notes, okay? Okay. All right. So what does sharing your story look like? So I promised you that we would discuss certain things. So the first thing is, who will you share your story with? Now, I'm going to try to, okay, that's not working. Maybe if I look over to the side. When I look over to the side, I hope I don't look so crazy. But I'm seeing that I look a little weird by looking over to the side, but it's not much of a glare. So, will you share your story with? So your story, when you share a story or share something about your life, you are sharing it literally with yourself. And I know that sounds weird, but I'll explain. Sharing your story with yourself literally means, just like I told you, I was adopted, my mom was a drug addict, and I struggled with self-esteem, right? Those are the three main points, right? So literally my life experiences, which has now turned into my story, I'm sharing that story with myself, meaning other people that are going through or have experienced the same things I experienced. So, for example, I wrote my book. It's going to be out in June. Yay for me. I'm really excited and nervous at the same time. But, so me writing my book, in the process of me writing my book, I literally wrote my book to the younger version of myself. Literally. As I was writing, I would say to myself in the back of my mind, Takima, even though you are in this situation, you're going to make it out because you are going to find this, or you are going to discover this about yourself. So in that process, I had to constantly tell myself that I was writing to myself. So when you share your story, you are literally writing for the younger version of yourself, or the version of yourself that you feel and know needs to understand that that you, or they, that those people, but in all intents purposes, for you to know that even though you're in this situation right now, you are going to make it out of it. That makes sense? Okay. So I see I have one person watching. Thank you so much. If you have questions, I think that you can add them in the box. I'm not sure where it shows up, but if you want, you can just ask questions here. So yeah, so that's the first part. The second part is your writer's voice. So this was really interesting for me because I didn't realize that there were different voices that you can have in writing. And it's really interesting because having a writer's voice means that you just have a particular way of telling your story. So if somebody ever asks you, what kind of writing voice do you have, you can say, oh, I tell my stories like this, or I say my stories like this, or I write my stories like this. You know what I mean? So, oh, and that was the other thing I wanted to mention. Some people that are watching or will watch this video, you don't necessarily have to be a writer, quote unquote, to share your story. Sharing stories, literally, and I'm kind of I don't know how to describe myself, but I'm kind of like into communication, like not in the tech way, because obviously it took me at least 30 minutes to get this webinar going. And I really apologize for that. But I was really stressed out because I was just like, this is crazy. I could just use a telephone, but webinars are a little bit more personable. It was just weird. Anyway, so I'm really into communicating like how people used to communicate with each other, like, writing letters, talking on the phone. I mean, I really like it that way. Anyway, so you don't necessarily have to be a writer to write or share your story. You can, if you're really good at speaking and engaging people, you can share your story via speaking. You can tell people, you can gather groups and stuff, and have a particular topic and share your story that way. However you're comfortable engaging people, and however you feel that people are willing to listen and want to listen to what you have to say, then that's how you do it. For me, writing is kind of like it's like therapy. It's like healing for me. I actually express myself much better when I write. I'm very good at talking and speaking and things like that. I actually like it a lot, which is why I wanted to do a webinar, because I kind of feel like people are watching me, and I kind of feel like I'm engaging. So I hope you feel like, I'm talking to you and we're vibing, so I'm really good at that. But writing is definitely something that is very personal to me. And I literally express myself so much better when I write. I have like, I can't even count. Like, I'm looking over at my bookshelf right now. I think I have like 30 notebooks. It's just insane. And then I buy new ones, like weird. Anyway, so let me just get back to so yeah, so your writing voice. So, oh, I was saying that you don't have to necessarily be a writer to write, but if you are more comfortable with speaking your story and telling your story to people, then use that avenue. If you're better at writing, you have something called a writing voice. So your writing voice, for the people, because I'm seeing people come on, thank you so much. Your writing voice literally is just how you tell your story, or how you speak, or literally like how you speak to people. So I'm going to give you some different writers' voices. So if you have your pen and paper out, I advise you to pick it up now and use it. Okay. What kind of writer are you? So I wrote these notes, so I'm going to be glancing over here. I'm not kind of like looking away, we're vibing. Okay. Okay. So the first kind of writer or writing voice is the emotional writer. So I'm a little bit, I don't know if my sister is watching. I saw her say that she was gonna come on, and she can vouch for this, sort of. But I'm a little bit of an emotional, sensitive person. I was born in July. I'm a Cancer, so um, oh, I have a question. Okay, I will definitely get to your question. Um, Thank you so much for asking. Natasha. Thank you, Natasha. Okay, so actually I can answer it. Okay, how did you go about establishing each chapter as far as method? I was taught to use index cards for each one. Have you used that? I personally have not used index cards, but I will go over how to start writing each chapter. Thank you so much. And I actually have something special for everybody that has joined in for that. So thanks, Natasha. So your writing voice. So the first writer is the emotional writer. So for people that know me, I am, somewhat sensitive and, emotional. So an emotional writer kind of like writes in a way to get um, emotions out of the reader. So the way they write their story is they tell it in a way where they are they want to get a emotion out of you, but it's for the purpose of healing you at the same time. So emotional writers actually connect with their readers before they even know their readers, which is pretty amazing. For example, one of the chapters in my book, when I wrote it, I actually cried through it. And it was really, really difficult because I was writing about, I don't want to give it away because I want you to buy my book. But so I was writing about a time when I was raped. And it was really difficult because the way I wrote is that I kind of like went back to that place and felt all the things that I felt when it was happening. So it was a little difficult for me to go there, but I had to go there because, like I said in the beginning, when I write for the reader. So when I'm writing, I'm literally talking to that younger version of myself and telling her, I know you are going through this. I know that you feel like that you're nothing, that you're dirty, that you're worthless. But I want you to know that you are strong and you are going to come out of this. And, you know, you won't allow this to keep you down. So writing that, and having that emotion in writing helped me to process what I was going through, and hopefully it will help whoever reads that and is going through that same situation to know that they are not worthless, and that yes, it's painful, but the pain doesn't last always. So that's an emotional writer. Emotional writers, I like to also call them tear jerkers because a lot of times, I don't know if this has ever happened to you. Like sometimes I'll be on the train and I'm reading, or I will see other people reading books and they're literally like crying their eyes out, and I'm just like, what are they reading? So so that's the that's the first writing voice, is the emotional writer or the tearjerker. So the second writer or writing voice is I have another question. Thank you, Wendy. I will get to your question in a second. Let me just go through these writing voices. So the second is the thought-provoking writer. So a thought-provoking writer is someone that literally makes you think. Have you ever read a book where you read the first 3 or 4 chapters, or not even the first 2 chapters, and you're literally thinking like, I don't know about this, or you've read it and you kind of like have to put it down because your mind is like going. Um, so that's the thought provoking writer. A thought provoking writer really makes you think about what it is that you're reading, what it is that you're experiencing, and how is it that you can make it. Some books that are thought provoking. I don't know why Stephen King comes to mind, but a lot of his books really make you think, because sometimes he writes about weird um suspense things, and it makes you feel like, what? And then it kind of makes you think like, oh my gosh, do I do that, or have I done that in my life, and things like that. So a thought-provoking writer also makes you think outside the box, and they make you think about, how you're handling situations. I think about I read a lot of TD Jakes books. And for those of you who don't know TD Jakes, he's a very prominent preacher, pastor in Texas. And his books really make me think and assess my life. um he has a book called Instinct. I don't know if anyone's read that book, but I advise anyone, everyone that is here, to get that book, Instinct. And it really, really makes you think and assess your life in a way where, if you're struggling with understanding your purpose and understanding who you are, that book is a really, really good resource. So I would consider him a thought-provoking writer. Um, so the third writing voice that I found is a very prominent writing voice, or a writing person, is a transformational writer. And a transformational writer, literally, they're kind of sort of like a thought-provoking writer, but transformational writers write so that the reader is transformed. So they're kind of like a writing coach. They're kind of like a coach slash mentor that you're reading. And I'm trying to think of a transformational writer. Oh, perfect. Ayanna Van Zandt. She's literally like my mentor in my head. If I ever meet her, I probably will pass out, but not really, but I probably will. I don't know. But she is a transformational writer. I mean, her stories, her I read her books I read a couple of her books, but one of the books in particular, Piece of My Broken Pieces. Whew, that book. So even though it gave you glimpses and large chunks of her life, so some people might call it a memoir, it wasn't really a memoir. It was really, it showed you her transformation, and it kind of like helped to helped people to transform as well. And I tell everybody who watches her on Y'all Fix My Life, she literally can fix anybody's life, because that woman has gone through everything. I mean, from abuse, divorce, losing a child, your child telling you they literally hate you, like just everything. She has gone through it all. So she's trying to fix your life. She literally can, because her life literally fell apart and she was able to get it back together, with God's help, of course. So a transformational writer is somebody who is invested in helping their readers transform their lives for the better. So if that is your writing voice, if that is your purpose, and if that is your, I see my glasses glaring, I'm so sorry. So if that is your purpose, and that is something that you want to do for people, then your writing voice is transformational. Your goal as a writer or as a speaker is to help people transform. So the fourth kind of writer is a resource writer. So resource writers literally, they constantly give information. I find a lot of resource writers or resource writing voices in blogs. They're giving tips, they're showing you the best places to go, things to do. They're information driven. They do have stories attached to them, but they also are constantly giving you resources and helping you and guiding you through your life and different things like that. So that's a resource writer or a resource voice writing voice. And the last one is a fantasy writer now, or a fantasy writing voice. So I'm not really a fantasy writer, but I have a very vivid imagination. So that's the only way that I can really see that I actually am I have a fantasy writing voice. I am looking to do some fiction novels in my future. But right now I kind of just want to be as non-fiction and me as possible. So, but a fantasy writer is pretty much like they literally, what I love about fantasy writers or having a fantasy writing voice, they literally take you from where you are and literally will transport you to another place. So you could be in your kitchen, I'm sorry, not in your kitchen, but in your living room, sitting on your couch, reading that book, and you can be like, for me, I'm in the Bronx. So I'm in the Bronx on my couch, and if I'm reading a book and it's a fantasy writer, I am literally in Sudan or Egypt or something, and I'm literally going on a journey. They have the ability to take you on a journey. And that's something that I like about fantasy writers or having a fantasy writing voice. So, so let's go over them again. So you have the emotional writer or the tearjerker. Sorry, I'm one of those writers. You have the thought-provoking writer or the thought-provoking writing voice. Transformational writer, that's the third one. The resource writer, and the fantasy writer. Now, some people may have like a couple of them that you're interchanging and you do some um, interchanging with your stories and how you share your story. But a lot of the times people are either one or the other. You can be a combination of two or three, but most of the time you have one that's like literally dominant and you have the second narrating and the third. So those are the writing voices. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm rushing, but I don't, I was having some difficulties technically, but I really appreciate everyone that is watching and that will watch. I really appreciate you. Wendy, I did not forget about you. Let me answer your question right now. Okay, so you said there's a contest that is about expressing yourself in writing or singing. I think you would like, oh, thank you. You can win money and professionally. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I don't fit the age criteria. But yeah, so thank you though, Wendy. That's a really great resource. You're like a resource writer. You have a resource writing voice. That's great. Okay. So the next topic is your unique message. So, your unique message is whatever is personal to you. So, like I shared earlier, I talked about me being, in foster care and being adopted and, being homeless and, being a victim of rape and things like that. Those are my unique stories. Now, how many times or how many people do you know have experienced those things? There's plenty of people that experience those things. But what makes my story unique is it's my story. It was my experience. Nobody has literally experienced. So one of the things I want to definitely get across to everyone that is listening is that you can have 5 people in a room, and those 5 people all have been homeless before. And and then you'll have people come in and they'll say, well, tell me your story. And everybody, well, tell me about yourself, right? Tell me something about yourself that you talk about often. So everybody will say, well, I've been homeless, I've been homeless, I've been homeless, I've been homeless, right? Everybody has the same theme of what they have gone through. Those 5 people have been homeless, whatever. What makes everybody's story unique, even though they have the same message, is that nobody has experienced homelessness like person A, person B, person C, person D, person E. And I just want to be like a little transparent in that, in writing my story and doing what I'm doing now, I was a little afraid, to talk about, share what I've been through publicly. Like people have known, and if people ask me, I'll tell them things that I've gone through. But writing my book and like literally being the writer that I knew I wanted to be was a little difficult for me, because I said, how many people have been raped before? That's not, or how many people have been homeless before? Like, whatever, but and then when I would see people come out with their stuff, and like even this webinar, I was like, everybody's doing webinars. What am I going to say that's different? And people kind of like yelled at me like, Tequila, stop it. So my point is, in me being afraid to want to, do this webinar or write my book, you know, I had to learn that, you know, okay, so what? Yeah, a lot of people have been raped. A lot of people have been homeless, but nobody has walked my life. Nobody has done the things that I've done, or nobody has experienced the things the way I experienced them. That's what makes your story unique. Your story is unique because it's you, because it's me, and it's not anybody else. So when you know, and you, if you feel like you haven't, you know, you don't know how to write your story, or you don't know how to share your story, I want you to take that thought out of your mind that if everybody's saying it, why should I? Why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you share your story? Because, okay, say you, again, you know, say you want to talk about being homeless, and I'm talking about being homeless. If both of us were on the same panel and somebody said, hey, tell me about being homeless, I can say being homeless was a great thing because, um, you know, I got to live in different places. I was homeless, but it was an okay experience because I got to live in different places. But the next person will say, well, I was homeless and I used to sleep on the subway and it wasn't nice. Same theme, same situation, different experiences. So I just want to encourage you, and I really feel a strong need to say this. You know, I just want to encourage you that don't feel like you don't have a story to tell. Don't feel like your story is not significant because it may be similar to somebody else's, or it can look exactly the same, but because it's you, it's different. And you have something to share. And I guarantee you that whatever you have to share, somebody is willing to listen. Somebody needs to listen. Somebody wants to listen because they need what you have to say. So that is sharing your unique message. And also, what also makes your story unique is the way you tell it. Again, we can have the same experiences saying, yeah, I was homeless and I slept on the train. Oh, I slept on the train too. But I could tell it in a way where I'll make it seem like it's scary, it's the most crazy situation ever. And then somebody else could say, you know what? Sleeping on the train, it allowed me to meet different people. I was scared all the time, but I was also open to meeting people and understanding people's lives. And, you know, it could be a totally different experience. It's all about how you represent you in your experiences and how you share it with others. So that's my thing about sharing your unique message. I feel like I look really weird looking out to the side, but the glare is like really stressing me out. But you know, you guys are sticking with me, so I'm really, really happy about that. Thank you so much. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about, or the second to last thing, not the last thing, the second to last thing. The second to last thing is the why you need to share your story. And this is my favorite topic. Hopefully my mentor slash coach is watching. She's probably like laughing her butt off. So the why you need to share your story. Like I just said, somebody somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna take these off because this is stressing me out. I'm like, I can't see. Okay. So the why. So somebody out there needs to hear what you have to say. Somebody is desperately needing what you have to say, and I'll share a short story, like a 2-minute story, I promise. So I recently went on a youth retreat with an organization called Council for Unity, which I love, and I'm actually going to be working with them full time. So I'm really excited about that. And it kind of goes with what I'm already doing. I'm like, yay for me. Okay. Shameless plug. But anyway, I went on a youth retreat with an organization called Council for Unity, and I was with a group of 20 young people. Well, actually, it was maybe 18 girls and boys. And there was one session where we met with all the girls in the room, and we had them kind of like share how they felt about themselves by reading something. And one of the girls really had a difficult time sharing. And I don't think I was getting frustrated with her. I think I was like, what is your problem? Excuse me. I just had some soda. Um, so she had a really difficult time sharing, and I was getting frustrated. I was getting frustrated at the fact that she wasn't taking it serious. And then I stopped getting frustrated and I said, there is something else that's happening. And then she walked out of the room, and I went after her immediately, and she was crying, and I was like, oh God. And I said, and I literally told her, I said, you have to not be afraid to talk about the things that you struggle with, because that is the only thing that's going to free you. I said, it may be difficult sometimes. I said, and I know because I've been where you are. And you can't hide behind the laughing and the making jokes and, trying to be the class clown. No, because that's not going to heal you. Healing starts with telling and speaking and sharing and letting it go. And I almost cried telling her this because, again, going back to the first thing I said, when you share your story, you are literally talking to you. You're literally talking to yourself. You're literally talking to that young person or that younger version of you. So as I was saying that to her, I was just like, wow, I remember being like that. I remember, constantly just doing things to cover up how I really felt. So after the retreat, maybe like I think it was last week sometime, we're friends on Facebook now, so I feel kind of cool. So Wendy, thank you so much. You said I look young. Haha, I'm 31 actually. So thank you. So last week, we're friends on Facebook, so she had posted something and I said, you're growing up. Wow. And she had said something about, you really changed, you really helped me to change, and you really helped me to, make better choices. I literally wanted, and this was a 4-day weekend. This was a 4-day situation. It was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 4 days I was with this girl. Didn't know her from Adam. And 4 days by me being transparent, being open, sharing my story, talking to her. 4 days, this girl started making better choices. Seriously, by sharing a little bit of my truth, my experience, my story. 4 days, this young girl is making different choices and is willing and open to change because she identified with a story that I had to tell her about me. So that right there is your why. That right there is reason enough to share your experience and tell your story in your own unique way. I can't tell you how freeing it is to talk to people, and how freeing it is when I open my laptop and I'm writing. And as difficult it may be, because the writing process, sometimes it makes you want to throw your laptop on the floor, step on it, put it in a bathtub, electrocute it, like all of that. Other times you get so frustrated with yourself that you feel like, why am I even writing again? Like, what is going on here? Like, there's so many things that frustrate you. But like the story I just told you is the reward within itself. Being a writer is not easy. Um, it's amazing. It is completely amazing, but it's not easy. Um, it definitely challenges you to think outside of your own box. It challenges you to think about others more than you think of yourself, because you know that whatever it is that you're going to share is going to impact people's lives. Whether one person buys your book, whether 100 people buy your book, whether 1,000 people buy your book, it's going to impact somebody's life. And as a writer, or as a storyteller, which I like to call myself, it's so funny because I hated saying storyteller when I was younger because my mom didn't let me say lie. I was just like, what? But she literally turned me into a storyteller. Thanks, Mom. So, you know, sharing your story is definitely something that is necessary. Um, and I think that a lot of people, I'm going to put my glasses on because I need to look at my notes again. I feel like an old woman. But, sharing your story is definitely a healing thing. It definitely is something that can be healing for you and the reader. Um, and it's also tied to your purpose. You didn't think I was going to talk about purpose, huh? But I am. Yes, your purpose is tied to your story. Your story is tied to your purpose. Um, and whatever your purpose is, I'm not here to say you have to, start a business and do all the. I'm not telling you that. I'm interested in you getting your story out there to the people that need to hear it. And the people that need to hear it are the people that are like you, that were like you, that will be like you. Those are the people that need to hear what you have to say. And it's why. Because just think, if your story involves you going to jail, and you being there for a really long time, missing out on your life, and then you finally get out and you're getting adjusted, why not share that? Because how many people are in the same situation and feel like they can't make it, or they can't get out, or or someone feels like, if you grew up without a father, I grew up without my dad, um in two different situations. Because I was adopted, I had an adopted father, and he was an amazing man, but I only knew him for a short time because he passed away. So you know in that regard, it's you know um somebody needs to hear. I was lost my train of thought for a second. Somebody needs to hear about what it means to lose a father, what it means to not have a father. Reassuring them that they are going to make it out of something because their father wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? Or knowing that they still have value because even if their father wasn't there, like just reassuring them that they matter. You know. So that is your why. So let me go over to the questions part. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Wendy, you're so great. Thank you, Natasha. Oh, you guys are great. So Natasha. Oh, you asked about the establishing each chapter. Okay, so what I have for you guys, and thank you again for showing up. Thank you. I'm so scared. But what I have for you guys is, if you could leave um, your email in the questions portion. Natasha, I think I have your email. But Wendy, if you could leave your email in the questions box, I will send you my guide. I created a. Yes, you have to wait. Okay. Yes. My daughter was so good. She was quiet the entire time. Sorry. So Wendy, if you could leave your email address. What I created was a the right outline, and it's actually an outline to help you to get you started in writing writing your own story. So Natasha, that resource and that outline will definitely help you in helping you to establish your chapters, and I'm sure you'll find it resourceful. And also just let me know how it works out for you. I am actually starting my first writing program. Yay! In June. So registration will start for that in May. So if you are interested, so basically I'm gonna go over a little bit about what the program entails, and that's my alarm telling me that I need to hurry it up. So basically, my writing program that I'm starting, or that is opening, the grand opening or the grand launch of it is going to be June 8th. So what I will be doing is teaching people how to write their story step by step. A lot of writing programs start off with, helping you to write your book, get it published, make money, great, because I've done a boot camp like that, and that's literally why I'm where I'm at. But I don't see a lot of programs that are actually walking people through the actual writing process, and that's literally what I wanted to create for people who are in the beginning stages of wanting to write but don't know where to start. So what I will be offering is 3 levels of the writing program. So basically, the first level is a PDF and audio. So you'll hear me talk you through the writing process and how to get it started, and how to what you need to do, how you need to do it. So that program in itself is $97. So it's just the PDF and the audio attached to it. If you want to add on having what do you call it, one-on-one with me, me kind of like talking to you live, that'll be an additional charge. But the PDF and the audio is definitely a great resource if you don't have time to kind of like commit to other things for the other program, for the next level up. The PDF and the audio is a great investment. The second phase, if you want to upgrade, would be the 397, and that is the standard. And basically what you get is you get a workbook. You will get to work on a team, and you'll have a partner that you'll work with. You have access to my Facebook. My foot is falling asleep. My Facebook page, Facebook group. um, you'll have mentoring with me one-on-one, and then you can add on an having additional one-on-one with me, planning your launch of your book. So sorry about that. My daughter she's getting frustrated now. So, and the last part is my VIP, which honestly, this is a little hot, I'm not gonna lie. So the VIP literally is one-on-one mentoring and guidance from me. You get unlimited email access. You get a weekly one-on-one calls with me to help you walk you through the process of your writing. And then you get to attend a one-day intensive. So I'm doing a 1 day, 8 hours with me. That is going to be fun. I'm just going to let you know. In person, and I'm literally gonna walk you through the process of writing and sharing your story. And then you're gonna be paired with partners, and then at the end of this, you will share your story with everyone. Isn't that awesome? I think that's awesome. I like it. You like it? If you like it, say yes. Okay, great. So I mean, it's a win-win kind of situation. So if I don't have your email, definitely leave your email in the questions section so I can see it. If you are interested in taking advantage of any of and registering with the writing in my writing program, please send me your email and I will send you the information. We will set up a schedule to have a one-on-one session, consultation with me for 30 minutes, and I can hear about your story and sharing it, and how you want to share it, why you want to share it, and how we can get started. I really want to thank you so much for joining me today. I know we had a little bit of hectic technical difficulties, and like Wendy said, thank you, Wendy. Yes, I've wanted to throw my laptop in the garbage several times because it gets frustrating. But if you are interested, just I look forward to talking more with you. And I will be sending you out the outline, the writing outline. And I will be doing more webinars. Hopefully, I'll be a little bit more tech savvy next time. But also, if I'm not able to get it together fast enough, there will be a conference call line, so you can actually get on a call and we can still start on time. But again, I want to thank you so much. This was my first webinar. I was completely afraid, But Natasha and Wendy and everyone else that was on, you really have made me feel like I could do this. So I thank you for that. We're a community, and we're here to help each other, right? So again, I look forward to hear from you, and please look out for your free and awesome writing outline. And until next time, I want you to be you, stay true, and live sexy. Oh, almost forgot. Okay, so I'm also going to be sending you the link to my blog, because I really, really want you to follow my blog because it's really cool. And my book is going to be out not next month, in June, right before the writing program starts. So I will send you the link also to pre-order if you would like to purchase my book, which I hope you will. Okay, so again, let's try this one more time. I want you to always remember to be you, stay true, and pursue. And I'm Takima, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.